If you're a mama trying to lose weight, fit back into your old clothes, and actually recognize who's looking back at you in the mirror, is eating less and moving more the best way to achieve it? Well, I'm going to unpack whether or not that's actually the best advice for you specifically. So make sure you watch to the end, because I'll be dropping absolute gems this entire video as per normal. So I'm sure you've heard it many a time in your journey that all you need to do in order to lose weight is eat less and bloody move more. But is it true? Well, after working with probably 2,500 women and mums, I can confidently say it depends. See, the statement, eat less, move more, is, and if you've seen this, an umbrella statement. Because yes, let's say I wanted to go from Brisbane to bloody Melbourne, I'd need to move my body to get there. But how I move my body in order to get there is largely going to dictate how much time it takes, if I can even do it. Because if I walk, safe to say it'd take me a couple months and I need to pack a very, very big bag and it would disrupt my entire life. But if I flew, oh baby, it's gonna take me 2.5 hours. So let's make sure we get you flying instead of walking. So the key element here that is missing in this statement is nuance. Yes, a lot of people forget nuance when it comes to their health and fitness journey. They think one size fits all. I just need to try harder. Well, you don't. And trying hard is actually probably the reason why you've failed so many times. See, what's missing for a lot of mums like you watching is strategy. Seems pretty straightforward, but maybe you've had a strategy before. Maybe you think it's challenge. I've got to be a challenge mindset. I need to lose 8 kilos in 8 weeks. And then I'll just keep doing the challenge once the challenge is done. Bow. That's like trying to sprint from Brisbane to Melbourne, this example. And you're going to end up going nowhere even faster. So in order to have an effective fat loss strategy, you need to take a few things into account, mama. That is your calories, how much you need. Now, broad brush, anywhere from 1,200 to 1,600 for most people is a pretty good place to start. This is usually going to be pretty fast. This is usually going to be pretty moderate, but you'll be able to have more fun food and a bit more flexibility. How much time you have to give to this. Now, some of you have 1, some of you have 4 kids, some of you more. Now, full transparency, typically if you've got 4 or more kids, coaching's usually the last thing on the agenda. So this video might not even apply to you. And then you add in here a 40+ hour work week, and then you add in family, and that could be like seeing your in-laws, and you add in kids sport, which could be 10 hours of your week, taking them to activities, being the human taxi that a lot of mamas are. So once we've got that little fella nailed, then we're looking at exercise. How much do we actually need to do in order to elicit a response, but also feel better? And that could be anywhere between 1 to 5 sessions a week. Now, for a lot of my mamas kicking off, I'll usually say 0 sessions. A walk, if and when you feel like it, but mostly you need to probably worry about this guy first, and then you can worry about exercise. Don't do all of them at once because you suck at all of them currently. So there's no point trying to blast all at once because you just do a really job of more things. Once you've passed this phase and you've lost about 10 kilos and you're ready for this phase, I'd probably start at 1 or 2 sessions a week. Once you can do that for 3 months, then you move on to the next phase and the next phase and so on. But you need to prove to yourself that you can actually keep this thing going. If you go from 0 exercise sessions to 3 exercise sessions, that's 300% extra exercise. Now, if I added 300% onto your grocery bill, chances are you'd be kicking and screaming. But with exercise, you're like, well, that's what I should be able to do. Wrong. But if we are to do exercise, how much bleeding into sessions? What type? Do we do strength training? Do we do cardio? What are our goals with this whole thing? Are we just exercising for the of it? How long should we do it for? Should we go for 20 minutes? Is that even effective? Should we do 60 minutes? Is that too much or is that perfect? And then how intense? Well, if you're doing like an F45, you're probably not in control of the intensity. You're just probably going. As many repetitions as possible within 60 seconds, then rest, change station. If you're doing strength training, you can largely control that. If you're doing cardio, you can largely control that. But all of these factors make a big difference as to how well you can eat less and move more, and in what ways. And this is why most mums fail on their fat loss journey. They just blast it, just and hope that they'll be able to stick to it for the rest of their life. And you know yourself, if you're fucking watching this, it just doesn't work out that way. So these are the key things that you should focus on. Now, the bonus things that you probably don't focus on are tracking results. That looks like weighing in at the same time every single week. So my gals do a Wednesday morning weigh in after a shit shower and a shave to make sure they're getting the most accurate progress report on how they're doing on a week-to-week basis. They're not weighing in on a Wednesday morning, then a Saturday afternoon. It's all at the same time each week to get some level of consistency. you could say, of results. That will also then feed back into how we eat less and move more. Then we have psychology. Have you ever had a moment where you've lost 5 or even 10 kilos and you thought to yourself, you're a failure, it's not working, what you're doing is not working, and then so you absolutely the bed and then just go back to what you were doing, which is the same thing that got you fat, essentially wasting all your time, effort, and energy? Probably a lot of you have. All because you didn't master fat loss psychology. You weren't patient, you weren't graceful with yourself, you expected yourself to be able to run before you could even crawl, and you weren't understanding of yourself either. You bullied yourself. You should be 10 kilos by now. You should be 20 kilos by now. Instead of just being happy with the 5 that you lost, you expected more, and then guess what happens? Instead of losing 5 and staying 5 lighter and being grateful for that, you just stack on another 5 because you just go into the poor me's and the victim mentality and start overeating and then regain the 5 that you lost, effectively ending up 10 times worse than what you already started or where you were. And then time. How long is it realistically going to take me to lose 10, 20, 30, 40 kilos? But not only lose it, which most of you can't do already, it's keep it off. Because as beautiful as my bald melon is, I doubt you want to watch too many of my videos in order to lose fat. I'm a very nice guy, sure, charming, all the good stuff, absolutely jacked. But you probably don't want to look at my melon for much longer than you have to. Let's be honest. So will it take 6 months, 12, 24? And how long is the phase I need to in order to keep it off? Is that another 12, 24? And yeah, by and large, sorry to say this, you'll be spending a good 1 to 3 years on this project called you, but guess what? It's not about what you lose, investment, time. It's about who you become on the other end of it. It's like going through a university degree. You wouldn't be upset if you became a doctor if you were studying to become a doctor. You wouldn't go, oh, the 6 years wasted. No, you go, thank I'm a doctor now. How good. I wasn't a doctor 6 years ago and now I am. Same thing here. If you look at what you're losing, yeah, you always feel like a loser. But winners don't look at that. They understand that process takes time, and to get a dream result that 70% of all adults in Australia cannot get to is going to require a little bit more than just a 6-week challenge. It's going to take a little bit more than a shot of Manjaro. It's going to take a little bit more than a meal plan from ChatGPT. But all of this feeds back into how you approach eating less and moving more. A lot of you think that it's just a simple equation to lose weight, but that's why you're still overweight, because you're approaching it like it's something that's easy. When if you actually approached it with the gravity and the seriousness that it has, you'd probably be at your goal weight by now, because you would have done the things you needed to and taken it to the levels that you needed to take to in terms of thoughtfulness in order to tick the box and get it off. You could have been skinny ages ago and enjoyed your new body and spent your time doing better your time. But instead, you're watching this idiot. I joke, but also kind of true. Anyway, gals, that's me, you know, short and sweet, eating less, moving more. If you like this video, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. I usually post a video like this each and every week to help you mums lose weight reliably and keep it off. And if you want me to work through all of this with you entirely from top to tail, saving you time, effort, and energy, and you're ready to invest in someone with half a brain, there's a link down below to watch how the coaching works, and you can book a call with me personally if that's what you want to do, which I would heavily advise if you've taken the time to watch this video. Chat to you on the next one. Cheers.